Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about the best financial independence books. So let's get started. All right, so in a previous video, I had talked about what the best finance videos were, and I hope you guys found that useful, but I also thought I would like to, give a list of books for not only just finances, but more specific towards financial independence. So I thought I would kind of give you guys the list of books that I've read and have listened to, and that I had benefited the most from, and hopefully you guys will benefit from them as well. First book I would suggest is Quit Like a Millionaire. This book is by Christy Shen, and she talks about basically her history, her background, her childhood, where she grew up, and how she didn't have enough money to actually buy anything. And so she kind of talked about her childhood and what she went through there, and then how she moved to Canada. She ended up pursuing a computer engineering degree, and she explains why. And then she got her bachelor's, started working as an engineer, and I think it was a software engineer as well. But she also started to save throughout college, as well as through her working career. She also explains why she started to pursue financial independence. And she talks about health insurance, not only just in the US, but also around the world. And she talks about tax advantage accounts in Canada specifically, because she did live there. So she has recommendations about that for Canadians. This book has a lot of details about what to invest in, how much money, the asset allocation. It's kind of a mix between data and information, as well as a biography. So it's a very cool mix of the two. The one thing that I really loved about this book is that what she had going for her and what she did in order to become financially independent was repeatable. It was just all hard work and patience, investing and saving. This book really resonated with me. So if you're an engineer or you're living in Canada, and if you like listening to biographies or stories of other people, then this book is perfect for you. The second one would be Work Optional. Now, this is also another female author. She was very detailed in how she was able to become financially independent. With her, I wasn't able to relate with as much, but it was still a very, very informative book. She didn't really go into detail about her life story or why she wanted to become financially independent, but she really talks about her investment accounts, what she suggests you should do to save your money. And she also has a guide on what to follow, and a structure, kind of like a schedule type thing. Like, you first want to invest into your 401k to meet the company match, and then you want to max out your Roth IRA, and then once that happens, you want to go back and then max out your 401k. So she kind of has a set chart of steps that you can do and take in order to become financially independent. So she kind of maps out a path for you specifically. So that's something that you could take into consideration. It's more about like data and instructions on how to become financially independent. But it's still a very informative book, and I would definitely recommend that if you are looking for a guide or some sort of steps to follow. The next book is called Financial Freedom. Now, this is just for those who are kind of interested in financial independence, but they don't even know what it is. So if you're one of those people who are just, okay, that sounds interesting, I don't really know what it's about, but maybe I might want to do it, but maybe not. So this book is perfect for you. It's kind of like a crash course on what financial independence is. The author just kind of gives information about just the general steps and rules that you should follow in order to become financially independent. Also, the 4% rule and the different types of tools and analyses you could use to calculate when you'll be retiring, or to calculate basically, if you want to retire at a certain age, how much you'll need to save. So you work backwards. And then he goes over all those different calculations that you could use. He also breaks down what the tax advantage accounts are and explains what they do and what they mean. So an HSA, a 401k, traditional 401k, and then the IRAs, traditional and Roth IRA. This book is, like I said, a crash course. So if you're someone who's kind of interested in it, not sure if you want to do it, then this is good for you. The last book is called Retire Before Mom and Dad. Now, I know the title sounds a little weird. At first, I obviously, judged it from the title, but you know what they say, you never want to judge a book by its cover. So I was willing to listen to it, and they gave it good reviews, and it was actually really informative. The author, he I think his name is Rob Berger. Yeah, and he talks about his life a little bit and how him and his wife wanted to become financially independent because they realized that they had like this nice big house, all these cars, this nice lawn, and they had like maids, but it was all a bunch of overhead and they were in debt to their eyeballs. Like it was bad. So he kind of talked about that and why he wanted to become financially independent. And so similar to the work optional, he kind of gives an outline on what you should do. He goes into more detail about the financial advisors. He recommends certain ones, gives recommendations about certain financial advisors, as well as what you should or shouldn't do in terms of financial advisors. You don't want to always pay for one if you don't have to. But if you have a more complicated type of investment, or you want to become more involved with your investments or something like that, then he does recommend certain financial advisors that are specifically hourly based. So they don't have any sort of incentive to sell you any sort of mutual funds. They'll just give you their advice on the asset allocation, not necessarily what exact mutual funds you should invest in. So that's a good book. I'll put the list here of all the books that I had mentioned. Out of all of those books, I'd say my favorite and the most beneficial that I found was Quit Like a Millionaire, because I could just relate to her the most. She was a female working as a computer engineer, and she just wanted to become financially independent. And the reason why is similar to what I was feeling. She just didn't want to be at work all the time. It was more so to do with stress and having to, meet the quota for the day for her boss than anything else. And she saw her coworkers go through some tragic experiences because of the amount of stress and pressure they were under. Yet they showed up the next day acting like nothing happened. So she really realized that her physical and her mental health are way more important than any sort of job. So just to summarize, if you're a computer engineering student or any sort of engineering student, or you live in Canada, then I definitely recommend this book because it's the most relatable in terms of having an engineering job. And she goes over the different types of taxable accounts as well as health insurance around the world. If you're someone who is just wanting a guide type of book, something that you can just follow, what steps you should take, and then so on and so forth, then I'd say Work Optional would be good for that. If you're someone who is just wanting to be introduced into financial independence and don't know what it is and aren't sure if you actually want to pursue it, then Financial Freedom is a great book for you. And then lastly, if you are someone who is really interested in, just financial independence, you want to become financially independent and you just want to know more information about it or get some tools or resources about financial independence, then the Retire Before Mom and Dad is a good book for you. So yeah, those are the books that I suggest. I read them all. I found them very helpful, very beneficial. I have yet to read any other books about financial independence specifically, but if I do, I'll definitely let you guys know and give you a heads up, maybe make another video if I happen to read more about financial independence. But right now I'm really reading a lot more finance books and investing books. I hope you guys liked this video and you found it helpful and informative. So please like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.